All right, here we are. Happy New Year. If I haven't told you that already, and I probably haven't, right? Because this is the first stream of the new year. Hopefully everything's working. I think it is. I've moved around like so much stuff here in my studio. So lighting and screens and everything are all in different places, which is one of the things we plan to do today on the stream is to just make sure everything's working and make sure I get used to where everything is located now. And as part of that experimentation with the streaming setup, I needed something to build. So this is the subject for today. I wasn't really sure, actually, until yesterday what I was going to do. And then this thing arrived. FedEx delivered it yesterday. So it is now the build for today. And I haven't done anything with it yet other than just open the box. So apologies for the plastic ripping sounds as we open these bags. This is a kit that I've been wanting to build for a while, and I missed the P-Bandai drops for it like the first 2 times, maybe 3 times that it was available. I just didn't get online quick enough to order it before it sold out. And so when it became available again on, I guess it was like June, it was last summer sometime, I was actually out of the country at the time. And so fortunately, a friend of mine, Chris, shout out to Chris if you're watching or if you see this, was nice enough to get on the P-Bandai site and order this for me, since I didn't want to be up in the middle of the night where I was in Europe at the time, to be able to order it before it was sold out again. Are these water slide decals? I assume that they might be, given that it's a P-Bandai release, and they usually are. Ghost Sword is here. Hello. Haro also says hello. All right, so those are dry transfers, and these are just regular stickers. Master Grade Sinanju. Nice. How was that? Or are you building it now? Oh, it wasn't, you didn't enjoy it. Okay. So these parts, I remember this because I built a Master Grade Ball Verka, I don't know, like 5 or 6 years ago. It was a long time ago at this point. These parts here are like super rubbery, the material that they molded these in. So these are like the little, where the arms come out from the little undercarriage area and such. That's a weird runner. So yeah, I'm expecting this build for me to be sort of familiar, at least the ball part of it. And then of course the legs, the spider legs, as we're calling them, will be brand new for me. Yep, a green ball that's also a spider. Or I guess it's only got 4 legs, so that wouldn't be a spider. That would be some sort of 4-legged creature. I like to think of it as a spider. So there's 2 little metal rods and a very thin piece of red wire in here. I don't remember, oh, and it's open on the top. Interesting. I don't remember what that was for. Hopefully nothing else fell out of there. I guess we'll see. I'm gonna set this to the side for now. Yeah, you can tell with some of these runners that these are old, fairly old molds. Like the plastic and just kind of the shape of things are a little bit more, I don't know, rounded and less crisp than some of the more modern Bandai kits. But that's fine. I'm sure this will go together just fine. I'm just gonna sort these in alphabetical order real quick. So G and H. Right, so these runners here must be the parts for the 4 legs because we get 4 of each one. So this and this together, I assume make 1 leg, and we've got to do that 4 times. All right. Let me get organized here. And let's see, just real quickly, what's in the instructions. Because I have a plan here and I want to think about whether it's possible or not. I think the answer is that it is possible. So the plan is going to be that I'm going to build just the inner frame of this thing. I'll probably cut off the parts for the outer armor as we see them in the instructions, but not actually put them on. I want to see what the spider looks like. I want to see what the spider looks like without the armor on the outside. This suit is ugly, or the Sinanju? I think the Sinanju looks pretty good, but maybe depending on which version of the Master Grade you got. Because there are several different versions. Yeah, cool. So we're gonna build the ball without the outer armor, and then we'll build the legs without their armor, and we'll put it all together and see what it looks like. Just as like the mechanical innards. Yep, all the balls. Haro says hello, and so do I. Oh, by the way, Haro is in the chat. I've never tried this, so you guys can try it if you want. If you at Haro or just mention him in something you say, he'll probably respond. And since I said that, I don't think that it'll work, but we'll see. Somebody give it a shot. See if Haro says something. All right, this weird little runner with like rubber parts, I'm going to put somewhere so that it gets out of my way. I don't expect this build to take a super long time. It seems fairly simple, but maybe repetitive, right? Because there's 4 of those leg bits. And I think it's just the same thing over and over when we get to building that part of it. So let me know if something's weird with the audio or the cameras or anything like that, because I've changed a bunch of stuff since I last streamed, which was like maybe 2 months ago at this point. And I think everything should be good and hopefully even better than it was before. But definitely let me know if you see anything or hear anything unusual or wrong, because I want to adjust and fix things as we go here. This runner is F. Okay. Arctic Gazer, welcome. I was saying a few minutes ago, I think of this as a spider, but it certainly isn't, right? Because it only has 4 legs. But yeah, I like it as well, and I've been waiting for a while to build it. Yeah, should we kill the bot? There, the bot is gone. Unfortunately, its message stays on the screen. All right, so already my fingers are too large to fit this little piece into where it needs to go. Hey, thanks, Spade. All right, the music is strange. It's like moaning at me. Let's skip that. Yeah, so these rubber parts, these little triangular bits that we're just going in there, they're not like, I don't know, it's not like the same rubber that poly caps, not quite, right? It's even more flexible, it seems. It's weird. Anyway. Yeah, this Polypod ball, I got it, I was saying earlier, a friend of mine actually picked it up for me when P-Bandai put it in rotation last summer, because I had missed it twice already, and I was afraid I was going to miss it again. So I remember, because I built the ball Verka years ago. I remember thinking that even though it's a simple build, it has really nice molded detail, mechanical detail on this inner frame. I think back at the time I was planning to paint it, like hand brush paint it, all to get all the details, and I never did. Maybe I'll do something with this one as far as painting goes eventually. gallery. Oh, you mean the up there, what's rotating by? So yeah, if you don't know, there's a website called gunplaygallery.com that actually I developed. It's a few years old at this point, and I have not touched it in a while. However, whenever I stream, I just highlight, recent posts from people that have put their builds up on the website. So it's free. It's available for you to use as well. It's my favorite place to put photos of builds. I built it a few years ago as basically just a gift to the Gunpla community because I didn't think that there was really a good place specifically for Gunpla builders to share. Certainly you can share stuff on social media and stuff like that, but to have like a full photo gallery of a build, this is what provides that for people. Yeah, so if you find me there, you can find some of my builds. Although I haven't posted anything recently. I got busy toward the end of last year with a lot of other projects, and so I didn't actually finish many builds in 2023. And we're gonna remedy that in 2024. And yeah, I have plans to work on a few different fully painted, fully customized builds. And this is not one of them, but it was a kit that I had that I wanted to build, so we're just snap building this one today. And then starting in a couple of weeks, whenever this one's finished, I have plans to start a stream with a resin conversion build that will be fully detailed, customized, painted. And I'm not sure how much of that build I'll stream, but I will try to stream as much of it as I can. Yeah, I don't know which Master Grade camphor you saw, but I'm pretty sure I've not posted a camphor on Gunpla Gallery, so that was probably not my build that you saw there. Yeah, so one of my favorite things to do, whenever anybody posts anything on the website, I go, look through it just to make sure that there's nothing objectionable or whatever there. So I do a little bit of basically moderation of the content there. And fortunately, our community is awesome, right? And nobody's really abused it or posted anything really terrible that I've had to take down. I don't think, maybe once or twice in the entire 3 years that it's been running. But I love, because I get a notification whenever anybody posts something new there. One of my favorite things to do is just go and check out, all the new posts and see people's photos and what they're working on. Sadly, you don't custom. Well, I mean, that's not something to be sad about, right? They're still fun to build. And I enjoy just snap building a kit every once in a while, because once you get deep into a custom painted project, sometimes it can just take forever, And it's nice to just do something quick and simple sometimes. Cool. If you post something there, you know, like I said, I'll definitely see it because I get notified when people post. But yeah, I'm always excited to check out what other people are working on. So. All right, I said that I was not going to use, at least at first here, any of the green outer armor parts, that I was going to build this thing just as an inner frame. And while that is still true, these little tiny gray and green bits here that fit into the bottom of this, I'm gonna go ahead and put those in because they're small and I don't want to lose them, and I also don't want to have to take the thing apart and put them in later on. So this will be fine. Candy metallic. Yeah, so yeah, battle damage is a thing, or weathering in general is a thing that I probably would like to do a bit more of myself as well. I typically, in the past, have done like super clean builds. That's usually the style that I go for. And so I find weathering challenging, like to get the appropriate amount of weathering at the appropriate scale for the kit that you're building, right? So that things don't look too big or too evenly placed, like just to make it look realistic. I find it a bit challenging. But for me, like I gravitate towards like the super clean kind of factory fresh look for kits, and so that's what I tend to do with my own builds as well. All right, so this has an obvious or a specific side that has to be the front, even though it's sort of round. I'm gonna make sure it's facing the right way as we place it on here. So yeah, that's correct. This thing looks really dark, doesn't it? On camera, just because the plastic is so dark gray. I wonder if I flip this mat over, if it might look better for you guys. Is that better? Not better? I don't know. Still pretty dark. Yeah, well, it's true, right? You get, in some ways, it's good to have a signature style, but then also, I think you're right. Sometimes you want to have like variety, try something new. This piece, I really like all the little fins and edges molded into that piece. Yeah, that's good. So if you feel like you've mastered something, it's definitely, I would say, time to try something new. Oh no, I'm using the wrong nippers. Did I move them? I think I moved them when I turned the mat over, the build mat, and I swapped their positions. I get into this routine when I build stuff, like that things are in a tools especially are in a certain spot, and I just reach for them without looking after a while. So yeah, these, the better ones, are supposed to be at the top, and these first cut ones are supposed to be at the bottom. Yeah, so the plan, my plan for streams this year, at least to start the year, was to work on a resin conversion kit that I have. It's for the Master Grade Force Impulse Gundam, which is actually back there on the shelf behind me. The base kit I've already built. I built it over the holiday break. But the plan on stream is still, it was going to be to start the year this way, but we're doing this first just as a test to make sure that everything in my streaming setup still works. But once I have a couple of streams and finish this up, the plan is to break out that resin kit and work through that. And while I'm working through it, to record a couple of segments here and there, to also release on the YouTube channel as a sort of beginner's guide intro how-to on how to work with resin and resin conversion kits. I know other people have done things like that before, but I feel like it's a bit intimidating for some people to, who want to get started with resin conversion kits to, figure out where to start, what to do. So the plan is to do that. So during the stream today, I may occasionally reach over and hit the button on my stream deck that records footage of my overhead camera, because like I said, I just want to test that out and make sure that it is working, so that when it comes time to do those streams where I actually do want to record something, that I'm confident that it's going to work correctly. These little clear pieces here, which are these little lights that go inside of here. Let's zoom in. Yeah, so this little piece goes in here, and I'm not sure that I want to push that all the way in right now, just because if I ever want to disassemble this to paint it, and I almost certainly will at some point, it's going to be hard to get those out unless I want to drill a hole from the backside, which I suppose I could do. I'm thinking. Yeah, you know what? I can drill from the back and push them out later. It'll be fine. Can we get the camera to focus? Yeah. Yeah, so there's a flat bit right there that I can drill through, and it won't affect how this looks from the outside. You won't be able to see a difference. So that's cool. These do only go in one specific way. There's actually a tiny little ridge on the top of this cylinder, and there's a little groove that it fits into so that you get it oriented the correct way, because the end of this is slanted. It's not a perfect cylinder. I will say too, I can tell, I feel like at least that I can tell that this is a older kit, or you know, it's based off of the original ball, which is an older mold. The fit of the pieces and the style and quality of the plastic and the mold is not quite as good as you know, more recent Bandai releases. I see that the camera is having some trouble focusing on this very dark plastic. That's an interesting problem that I'm not quite sure how to solve yet. We're doing this both sides? Yeah, we are. We need these as well. I gotta say, I'm not a huge fan of the random music that the random music station is playing today. So let's try something different. Hey, welcome. Good morning, afternoon. It's afternoon now for me. Good afternoon. I don't even know what time it is. All right, I'm gonna play with the camera. I have an idea. I'll be right back. All right, what do we think? I think that blows out the white on the instructions a little bit, but it should widen the depth of field so that I don't have as much focus problems when I'm like holding my hands up here and the background goes out of focus, and it also should show the dark plastic better. I'm gonna let that stand like that for a minute, and we'll see if I like that better or not. Besides being a Gunpla nerd, I'm allowed to be a audio and video production nerd too, right? I actually do care quite a lot about the quality of things as far as audio and video and stuff go on stream. Polydactyl podball? Should I put wings on it? Is that what you're suggesting? Because we could talk about that. That might be possible. And it might be awesome too. Now you got me thinking, what do I have in my kit bash stash of extra parts that could put together to make wings for this guy? It does need something extra, right? 4 legs is not enough. So either more legs or some other appendages? Yeah. Seems good to me. I didn't put the pilot in. Should I do that? I just realized he was like on the last step, the previous step. Just totally skipped him. All right, here we go. There. Now someone's driving this thing. While I had that runner out, I should have grabbed the other parts that I need for what we're working on right now. All right, so there has been no more dark green plastic yet, except for those. There were like 4 very small bits that go on the back sides of these little rotating cylindrical bits on the top of it there. All the rest of any dark green plastic I'm going to try to avoid so that we end up with just the inner frame of this thing built when we're done. Because I'm curious to see what it looks like without its armor. I don't think I mentioned it earlier. In my studio today, it smells like sort of like furniture varnish or paint a little bit. I built a new wooden stand for my 3D printer, which is over there in the corner, over the weekend. And the finish that I used on it has not completely stopped yet giving off fumes. And so there's a good chance that I'll be taking some breaks today during the stream just to like step out of the room for a minute and breathe some fresh air. It's not like terrible, but it's enough that I notice it. That's upside down. And I don't want to be breathing in those paint fumes for too long. Exactly. It starts to give me a headache. I also have, like all morning long in here, because I walked in here this morning and I smelled it, I had the vent exhaust for my spray booth, which is over there, like just running, but it makes so much noise in the background for a stream that it'd be annoying for you guys to hear that. So I've got headphones on, so I wouldn't hear it, but you would hear it. All right, so I gotta say, so far this build of the ball part of this is very the ball is very simple, straightforward, and also I definitely remember this, even though I originally built the ball Veracah like 5 years ago at this point or something like that. Very familiar. Yeah, I mean, I could turn that on and mute the mic. I don't feel the need to do that just yet. That'll work. Yeah, I think that Veracah ball was the only one that I've built. My son has a little, like it's a Haro kit, but it has the cannon on top of it. So it's like a Haro ball. I helped him with that. So I don't know if that counts or not. So there's like a sunken, uneven bit of plastic there. I don't know if you can see that or not. So when I sand this flat, just because it's an older mold, I don't think I care enough to like really perfectly sand that flat at this point. Also, it's gonna go in a spot where it's not really visible anyway. Haro's piping up with some opinions apparently now as well. Oh, I see, because you mentioned his name. If you mention Haro's name, he will talk to you, just so you know. Yeah. Haro works. We've just learned something new about my stream setup. Haro works. Thanks for accidentally testing that out as well, by the way. I actually wanted to build, do you remember I don't know, it was several years ago, I think at this point, Bandai made that, was it officially in the Figurize line? There was a Haro that was like fairly big, and you could see all the mechanical detail inside. I was thinking the other day about trying to get one of those and build it up and put it somewhere in the background and put LEDs in it, hook it up to the stream so that it can light up when people do certain things, but you can't find that kit these days, except for at scalper prices. So that idea will have to wait for some other time. I suppose I could try to either scratch build or design and 3D print a large Haro. To put here in the studio. I need an assistant. An orange one, right? The orange Haro is the best Haro. Where does this thing go? Oh, I see. This is the little control panel. So it snaps in right there in front of our pilot. So it is good that I remembered to put the pilot in. Alright, so we got these little engine pods that go on the back. All right, so I just got a message on my phone that I need to respond to. Usually I ignore those things while streaming, but that one's kind of important, so as soon as I finish sanding this piece, I'm gonna put the stream on break mode just for a couple minutes, and respond to that, and step out of the room to get some fresh air while I'm at it. Yeah? So I will be right back. All right, we're back. And what was I working on? This right here. Time is it? Almost 1:30. So here's a green part. I'm trying to avoid the green parts. However, this particular part looks like required to be able to hold these thrusters in place. So we'll make an exception for that one. These nubs are sitting on these two little green parts here, are sitting on top of a mold line as well. So I'm actually just sanding down a little extra to remove that mold line since I noticed it. Those are the types of details that I would normally just wait until like I put a first coat of primer on the parts and notice those things and then fix them later. This song, I don't remember what it's called. We can ask. I think we can ask. Yeah, there, it popped up in the top corner of the screen. Yeah, this is a good song. So while I'm streaming, the music that I usually have playing and that I have playing today is from a royalty-free music service called Pretzel Rocks. So free advertisement for them. They're pretty good, although they've had some problems recently that I think are finally getting resolved, which is great. But I just went over to that player and hit thumbs up on this track so that maybe it will play us more things like this. Sounds like a neighbor is walking their dog out front, like more than one neighbor, and the dogs are barking at one another kind of loudly. I don't know if the mic picks that up or not. But I can hear it through my headphones. And I'm not monitoring my mic in my headphones, so it must be pretty loud. All right, so what? These just go on these ball joints. And then they slot in here somewhere. Yeah. Is there a front or a back? Looks like no. Oh, I see. We slot them in here first and then put that over the top. I'm just looking to see if one side of this little hinge part looks better than the other. They're about the same. All right, let's see. You probably go on this side and you probably go on this side, right? Yes. Built 2 Doan's Island gun cannon units. Nice. How are those kits? I imagine since they're fairly new, they're probably good, yeah? I'm not sure that Bandai has produced a bad model kit anytime in the last like 2 to 3 years. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. All right, I think we've gotten to some green parts that I can ignore now. We do need this inner bit of the door, the cockpit door, hatch, not door. Cockpits don't have doors. Plastic was kind of weird. Interesting. Weird how? So like, I've had a few kits where the plastic is sort of like a little bit soft, rubbery, and that makes it difficult to deal with sanding and finishing. I don't know if that's what you're talking about. Let's do this way. This particular nub is in a very unfortunate location because there's other detail really close to it that I don't want to accidentally sand away. Yeah, red and blue parts, especially when they choose to put large gates on them. It's always a hassle. All right, that will do. And this one back here is not going to be so noticeable because it's back there close to that hinge. So I'm not even going to worry about that one. So these God hands are older than 2 years. They are, I don't know, coming up on like 4 years old, I think now. I probably should get some new ones as well. The latest problem that I've noticed with these, this happened, I had them in my house, not here in the studio, but like in the living room over the Christmas break, because my family was in there and I was hanging out with them, but I wanted to build something. So I was working and I found like a little black thing in the carpet later on, and I realized it was this thing. I don't know, what do we call this little stopper here? That little bolt that's in there that stops it when it opens all the way like this. It actually now comes out. Like, I think it's meant to be a screw. It looks like it has threads on it, but they've just stripped. Yeah, they've stripped entirely, so it just slides out on its own now. Which is weird, because I never really like loosened it or turned it or anything. It just worked its way out over time. So yeah, I have to be careful not to let this thing fall out and lose it. I guess it's not a terrible problem if it does, right? Because they just open a little further than they're supposed to. But yeah, keeping that in there is interesting. I suppose I could put like some thread locker on it and reinsert it, and it would probably be okay. But yeah, I probably could use a new pair of God hands as well. I've tried a bunch of different other brands of nippers throughout the years, and nothing is as good. Even when, at least for me, when other people claim like this one's just as good as God hands, and then I try it, no, it's not. Right, and there's two pins on the God hands, right? There's this other pin that's on the inside that sets the depth of that, sets how they clip together. That one's actually important. I'm not sure that this one here is really all that necessary. All right, so we are going to skip putting this green outer piece on the cockpit hatch and also the clear round door or window area that goes in there, at least for now. Because, as I said earlier, I'm curious to see what this thing looks like without any of its outer green armor. I just want the mechanical spider legs and the ball. And then I'll decide from there how much and what of that outer armor I want to put on later on. At least that's the plan for now. Kawaii Builds, welcome. Yes, Polypod ball. It literally just arrived yesterday from P Bandai. Finally. I had like forgotten it was even coming until a couple weeks ago when I found out it was coming. I don't know if anybody else has that issue where like you order something from P Bandai and then it doesn't ship for 6 months or whatever, and you've totally forgotten that you ordered it by the time you get the ship notification. If you're filing, yeah, if that's true. Although, if you have really good cutters, it gives you less to have to file or sand. Which way does this go? This way? Yes. Interesting. I guess that's the little stopper that the door snaps onto. Do you snap on there? Feels like it wants to, but also maybe not. Oh, I see. If it had that outer, the armor part that I said I'm not putting on. Yeah, see, we have our backlog that we can see, like the stack of kits that's behind me. I can see that one, and then there's this other secret backlog that you forgot that you had that's in the warehouse at P Bandai, or not even printed yet, right? Yeah, it's like your secret other backlog. Yeah, the multiple layers of inner frame on this ball are great, I think. And I'm curious to see, once we build the spider legs, I'm going to keep calling it a spider even though there's only 4 legs. I'm curious to see if those have an equivalent good level of detail, or if they're just kind of plain. And what I mean by that is just the inner frame parts of the legs without their outer armor. Like, I hope that they have good mechanical detail molded into them as well. I didn't look on the runners yet to see what they look like. Haven't bought anything in a long time. Well, you know, there's probably good things about that as well, right? Sometimes your wallet needs a break and your backlog needs time for you to catch up with it and all of that kind of stuff. Wait, there's a cream white and purple Zeta? Interesting. Is it like a light, like a pastel kind of purple? Fuchsia pinkish purple. Cool. I gotta remember to keep an eye on the clock today. Because right around 2:30 or so my time, which is in like 40 minutes, I'm gonna have to stop for the day. Or at least stop for the stream. Maybe I'll come back and build a little bit more of this later on today. Let's see, 24, 25 here on the A runner are these gray parts. So I'm okay with putting these on. Since you mentioned decals, I'm curious, when you're looking for water slides for a kit, like third-party ones, is there a specific manufacturer that you tend to prefer or look for first, or you just go for whatever you can find? And I ask because I have an opinion on this, but I'm curious what other people think. Yeah, G-Work, Delpy. I think I agree with those choices as well. So I actually did print custom decals for one project. I found, oh look, a tiny bug. I didn't have time to kill it. I don't know if you saw it on camera or not. I had a project that I wanted to print some custom decals for, and so I found some decal paper that works with color laser printers, and it sort of worked, but you know what you end up with, like the decals looked okay, but then you still have to cut them out, right? There's no pre-cut outlines around them, and so cutting them down to be very carefully right around the outside edge of the printed shape that I was trying to cut around was a little tricky. Yeah, I'm not sure if I've ever used any of the Simp decals. I know they make them. I can't remember if I've ever used any on a kit or not though. Go there, or does this go on this side? Yeah, this is correct. No, maybe not. Flaming Snow. Yeah, I don't think I've ever heard of those, which is probably because no one in the USA carries them. All right, so this is its chin. I guess we'll call this the chin. The insides of these thrusters on the back here, there's like some detail molded in there, but it feels like they're like screaming out for another part to fit inside there to add some more detail. Yeah, I mean, you're right. Decal sheets but so here's the question, right? If you made and tried to sell your own decal sheets that had, markings that were specific to Bandai properties, right? Logos and such, they would probably not like that. I think. I mean, if it was a small, if you weren't doing it a lot, they probably wouldn't care and they'd ignore you. But I'd be concerned about like copyright issues, right? Right, yeah, exactly. If what you're doing is like small enough to never get their attention, you're probably fine. How Delpy and rework? I mean, maybe they get permission, maybe they have to pay a licensing fee, I'm not sure. I don't know anyone at any of those companies or at Bandai to ask them. But yeah, you could definitely do that. Or you could just do like generic markings, warnings, striping things, stuff like that. Which people have already done, right? Skulls and spiders and flames, or skulls with flowers. Yeah. Shovel some snow. All right, well, have fun shoveling snow. Is that a thing you can do? I mean, I've shoveled snow. I live in Florida now, so I don't shovel snow now, but I've done it in the past and it's never been fun. But enjoy yourself. If you can. Try. Yeah, today here where I live, no snow, certainly. But it is a very rainy day. Interesting. The chat Harobot reacted to that emoji, I think. I think that's what just happened. Good job, Haro. Just get like a some kind of wheeled robot, like a Roomba, right? Get yourself a Roomba, put a flamethrower on top, and then just drive it around out there. What could go wrong? All right, so it's now 2 o'clock. I'm just keeping an eye on the time because at about 2:30 I have to stop so that I can go pick up my boy at school so that he doesn't have to walk home in the rain. Or we could make him walk home in the rain. Let's see. Does orientation matter here? Yes, it does. This goes this way. But maybe on the other side? In the rain or a hurricane? Well. I mean, he probably wouldn't mind, but later on my wife would find out and she'd be like, you made him walk home in the rain? This very weird rubber material is gonna be a nightmare to paint, probably. If I decide I want to do that. Yeah, not sure how that would even be possible. That's a problem for future me to figure out. All right, so there's 2 more panels that go on the front and then a big cover that goes over the back of this. Here, this is what I'm referring to. These here, I'm skipping those because they are green outer armor parts, as is the dome on the top and those 2 bits in the front and that bit in the bottom and all of this on the sides. Yeah, so basically everything else and those little bars that go across the front. We're gonna leave all of that off for now. No, you know what? I'm gonna put these 2 little bar bits on. I bet that they're gray anyway. Yes, they are. They come off the A runner, which is mostly green, but there's this gray section of this runner. You ever went to the mall for food on your threw away the wrappers? Okay. I mean, I guess you weren't fast enough, right? So you just hang out to the mall for the rest of the day? Is that the solution? When that happens? Seems reasonable. Oh, so you were visible. That's even funnier, actually. Sorry. I apologize for laughing at your misfortune, but it's funny. He's probably like driving home thinking, I feel like I don't have something that I left home with or something like that, right? You ever have that feeling that you left something behind and you can't put your finger on what exactly it was? Well, yeah, it was a person. All right, so this all together here builds these little roll bars, handles? They're not handles. I guess it could be like a protective roll cage kind of thing because it's in front of the cockpit. Huh, that's not the right part. Alright, so that one goes down there, this one goes up top. Oh. Except that the two things that it plugs into are actually, like, part of the outer armor that sits on the outside of this. So we can kind of set it there, but as soon as I move this around, that's going to fall off. If I'm very careful, there, alright. Oh no. I think it's, I guess it's good, right? My boy has his Nintendo Switch and he plays with that and I don't play with it, right? Because I would probably do the same thing. Accidentally write over a save or something. Alright, so next is the arms. Do we care about the arms? I don't know. I guess you need this bit here that the arms mount into because the 4 legs attach to that. I do know enough about the construction of this thing to know that that is true. So yeah, I guess I should build the arms. I'm not going to do some of the fancy stuff like put the wire in and such though. Are we doing this twice? Yeah. Everything that I'm about to do, I have to do twice. All right, let's see. So these are the parts for the arms. And they are like pretty much this whole runner is just the parts for the arms now that I look at it. Yeah, and they're all in this green color. That's fine. You know what? You could skip this bit and just build the frame that the legs need to sit on. Nah, I'm gonna build the arms. Yeah. All right, I've decided. Am I building 4 of these things? Yes. So this part is going to become very repetitive. Fortunately, it looks like, just looking at these parts, that a lot of the nubs are on little pegs and those types of places where they're not going to be visible, so less cleanup needed. What else do I need right now? These guys here. This is the song with the evil laugh that freaks me out. So we're gonna thumbs down that song and skip it. All the little tiny pieces. All right, so with these we're building 2 claws, I think. in just a moment. But I guess I should at least clean up the bits we're going to be able to see. So that one. Looks fine. Those are going to be fine. These are never going to be visible. These are. I learned my lesson a couple weeks ago about not cleaning up nubs when just doing a quick snap build. So I live about an hour and a half or so away from USA Gundam store. And right before Christmas, they had a build day in their warehouse. So I drove over to see everybody over there and do a little bit of shopping in their storefront. And I hung out for their build day for a little while before I had to drive home. Excuse me. Sorry about that. My voice stopped working. So anyway, yeah, so I was up there and I didn't see any crocodiles when I was there. But I didn't bring anything to build for their build day because I wasn't planning on staying for very long. I was just going to hang out and chat for a bit. But I ended up staying for a couple hours or so. And Zach, who you probably know of, had an extra little kit that he offered that I could build. There was like a little series of 3. They were like these little, actually sort of spider tanks. They had 4 legs, which is weird because I'm building something similar today. Little small things. And he was building one, and he said I could build one of the other 2 that were in the same little kit. So I did. I sat down and I just snap built it really quick. And then a couple of days later, I guess it was later that week, I saw on his YouTube channel he had posted a review of that model kit, the little spider tank, and he had ended up painting the one that he built, just like hand painting it. It looked pretty good. And so then he used the plain one that I had built in his review, like on the turntable, showing, close-ups of it or whatever. And I saw all of the little, because I was building quick, I hadn't brought any of my tools or whatever. There were lots of not cleaned up nub marks and things that I don't know if other people noticed it or not, but I definitely noticed it. And I was like, if I had known it was going to be on a YouTube video, I would have tried a lot harder when I was working on it. So yeah, that taught me my lesson. I should always clean the nubs, even if you don't think that anyone's ever gonna see your build. I went to college in Daytona Beach, or in Daytona, fairly close to where USA Gundam Store's warehouse is now, and they didn't exist at that time, but if they had, I would have probably never gotten any work done at college because, you know, distraction. Their location where their warehouse is now actually is like almost within walking distance of the apartment, the condo that I rented with some friends while I was in college there. So yeah, I probably would have been there a lot. This is not the correct piece. This is the correct piece. Maybe not the peg in. So the thing that gets you though, it's gotten me a few times. Sometimes the peg end like pushes through into an opening and you see that and you don't realize it, right? And then you're like, oh, I should have cleaned that one. These are, these ones here on these claw parts are actually doing that. They're showing through here on the outside. It's fine. I don't care enough about it right now to take it apart and fix it. These claws are my least favorite part of the old, you know, the original version of the ball. Like to the point that I'm thinking if I end up customizing and doing something with this one, the one with the legs, I may take these arms off and replace them with something else. I don't know. I will have to think about it and look at it once the snap build is done and then try to decide. Need a place other than Instagram to post build kits. Well, there's always Gunpla Gallery. See, what I do is I post a photo gallery there at gunplagallery.com, and then you can link to that page, like post a link to that page on Twitter or Facebook or wherever else that you want to share your work. And it automatically embeds or grabs your cover photo from your gallery and puts that into your social media post, and then if somebody clicks on it, they can go see all the rest of the photos. So that's what I do, but you know, I'm biased, obviously. So with cylindrical parts like these arms here, or like fuel tanks, things like that. I haven't decided yet if I have a preference between what they've done here, which is just to mold the part as a single piece, or when they mold it in two halves and you slot them together. I think there are pros and cons to both. In the case of this one here, like it's convenient to have it all as one piece like this. However, there is a gigantic mold line down the edge here, and that bugs me. So I'm not gonna mess with it too much right now, but if it was molded as two parts, you would have to remove the seam line when you slotted them together, you know, glue it and then sand it or something like that, if you wanted it to be perfectly round. But the alternative here isn't much better, I don't think, because you still have to do a bunch of sanding carefully so that I don't remove the extra detail that they've got here to smooth out that mold line. So yeah, I don't think this is better. And then you gotta do it on both sides. I mean, I guess that's true. Less messy with no cement, but still, like, the amount of work is roughly the same, I think. And in a way, if you didn't want to fix it at all, like if you leave a seam line, if you have this in two pieces and you put it together and it leaves a seam line, I think that's less ugly than having this mold line here. All right, and I was just saying that I might not even use these arms, so I should probably stop worrying about it and just put them together. All right, we have finished this page, and I think, given that it is now my sort of unofficial cutoff time that I mentioned earlier, I'm going to have to stop for now. So yeah, we didn't even get to the spider legs on the spider ball, but we'll do another stream and do those on another stream, probably Thursday. Yeah, I'm gonna try really hard now that we're back to a new year, and I think my schedule is sort of calming down again to pre-holiday season normal schedule. I think that I'm gonna try to get back to my normal streaming schedule, which was Tuesday and Thursday morning, or early afternoons, I mean. So this same time slot, Thursday. And then maybe I will have some time to do some Sunday streams as well later on in the year. We'll see how that goes. But yeah, so the plan will be to come back on Thursday and try to finish this thing up. I might pre-cut some parts and have them ready to go, so we're just assembling parts. But anyway, yeah. I wonder if I can get Haro. Oh. Hey. You're like just in time for me to have to be ending my stream, so sorry about that. Yeah, we're just having to stop because I have to go and get my kid from school so he doesn't have to walk home in the rain. But anyway, yeah, we'll see if we can get Haro to say something. Can Haro thank everyone for watching? Let's see. Well, let's see what he does. Oh, well, that was kind of boring. I was hoping he'd say something better than that. But anyway, thanks everybody, and I will see you next time.
Reinforcements approaching. Reinforcements approaching.